All right, well, Eliminator is dead. It will not be making the Mopar show this weekend. Way too much stuff to happen, and since the motor is torn apart this far, I'm just gonna go ahead and do things more the right way. I'm gonna pull the headers off, get them ceramic coated, and so Eliminator's dead, which isn't really a surprise. But what we're gonna do instead for the show is I wanted to sling this around the autocross track, the General Lee. But I wanted it to have a drift brake, and it does not have the calipers or the rear axle set up for a drift brake. But what does is Daisy. So I'm going to rob the rear end out of Daisy, which is not a loss anyway, because this rear end is coming out of here regardless. I bought a Ford 9-inch rear end that I'm going to be putting in here to replace this, which, yeah, all you Mopar guys are probably going, oh, why are you putting a 9-inch in it? Why don't you just put a Dana? Because Danas are freaking heavy. I hate that. There's no reason to have a rear end that heavy out of a freaking diesel truck. So what I did is I ordered a heavy-duty 9-inch for just that extra bracing in it. It's good. It's a real nice rear end. It's all internally stiffened and beefed up. And I'm going to put a billet aluminum center section in it, so it will even be like 20 pounds. No, actually, probably about 20 to 25 pounds lighter than the 8 3/4 axle. So I'm going to yank all this junk out, which this is already set up for the drift brake. It's already got 2 calipers on it, and I'm just going to go ahead and rob the handbrake out of Daisy, because that's just a store-bought handbrake. I can just buy another one and throw it in here when I get back to this car. So no big deal. So we're going to yank this junk out, which I'm going to change the rear suspension on this anyway. So actually, I needed to pull this axle out regardless. And we're going to throw it in the General. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Unbolt everything from this axle and get to moving, because the show starts Friday. Today is Wednesday. All right, well, getting on it. All right, I just got everything unbolted from this car. I got the axle loose from the car now, which I had to let the GoPro charge, so it wasn't really that important just to undo all the linkages and everything. So now I can drop this thing, and I realized I'm gonna have to make new hard lines for it because this have like weird zigzags. Actually, no, I can probably just leave that one there, screw it. But that one over there definitely gonna have to get changed. Ah, screw it, I'll leave it. All right. Sweet. Now, I need to unbolt all this crap. Actually, I do need to make, if you look right here, see there's the 2 linkages, or there's the 2, turn on, there we go. There's the 2 breaker, or the hard lines that go into the 2 different calipers, the lines right here. Well, these are welded, the little tabs that hold these, the adapters, they're welded to my bolt-on trailing arm mount. So I'm gonna have to make new ones to replace that, which that's no big deal. I can make that real quick. So I can do that on both sides. Well, now I think I can actually just roll this sucker out, put it on jack stands, and get it all prepped and ready to go into the General. Sweet. All right, got the rear end out, got it stripped of all its old bracketry from Daisy. Now, the brackets that I had that held the brake lines, that was part of the brackets that clamped onto the rear housing. So now I need to weld weld a tab that actually holds the new adapter fittings to go to the dual calipers. So that's what I'm doing right now, making new tabs. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue that and move on. Now I can weld that sucker on there. Sweet, we got the new fittings welded on. Got them all TIG welded. Looking mighty fine, if I might say myself. All right, So now I need to make new hard lines to go from, I gotta make 2 sets of hard lines. One for the actual brake and one for the handbrake to go to the 2 fittings up there. So I need to get on making brake lines. Ugh. Now it's time to do the dirty part. Pull the old rear end out. Which, this isn't too bad. Hopefully. So I already got the emergency brake. I already got the emergency brake cables undone. Need to pull the drive shaft, unhook the brake line, unbolt the shocks, undo the shackles, and just lift the whole axle over the leaf springs. That's the game plan. So this part here is not all too interesting, so we'll just fast forward. Well, I did some work to the rear end, got all the brake lines done, but I didn't record any of it because a buddy called me, actually Mike up in North Dakota, bullshitting with him for like an hour because I had the headset on. I'm just sitting here working, just doing my thing, and then once I finished all the brake lines, I'm like, shit, I should have recorded that. Oh well, they're done. So, now the rear axle can go in the general. Sweet. So, yeah. Well, yeah, you guys missed a little bit more. All of a sudden, pow! The rear end's in the car. So the GoPro was dead, and instead of just waiting for it to charge, we just went ahead and slapped the rear end in it, which, in my defense, the new GoPros do not last very long. The batteries kind of like die pretty quick. So, I got the rear end in here, we got the pinion angle all checked, adjusted it. I just tacked in the, the axle to the new leaf spring purchase. Right now I'm taking the U-bolts back off so that way I can lift the axle up and just weld them up. I was just gonna pull the whole axle back out and just TIG weld them, but screw it. I'll just make them in. So that's where I'm at right now. It's late, trying to not make a whole lot of noise, but trying to get shit done at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and next time you see me, I'll probably be putting the handbrake in, because that's going in right now. I just cut the carpet so that way I can put the handbrake in the one spot right by the console. Well, I'm going to actually, I'll show you me welding this up a little bit. All right. The next day, the general will be done with the drift brake today. So I just finished making this bracket. This is what I'm gonna mount to the floor. Actually, yeah, it'll mount as so, just like that. So we'll go ahead and weld this in the car. I've already test fit it. It's gonna fit perfect. So I'm gonna get on that. All right, we're making brake lines right now. So I just went to the local speed shop here and got some line and some fittings I can use just to make the brake line, because they don't have any 90/90s, which is 90-degree fitting here. So I have to make one with a 90/90. I'm just trying to get the right amount of droop that I want to allow the axle to go up and down. Oops, starting to smell smoke now. Got the soldering iron sitting there on the ground heating up so I can burn a hole in the carpet for the brake line to come through on. Oh. So we have our hard line under the carpet going up to under the back seat. That's for the handbrake. That goes under the carpet, up over. I need to burn a hole in the carpet, so that way I can run this guy up through the carpet and go to our handbrake. So now that that's heated up pretty good, let me go ahead and burn my hole. Let's see. Looks like about right. Right about here is going to be good. Well, maybe it's not hot enough yet. No, it's going. Alright, so we made our hole. I use a soldering iron to burn holes through the carpet because it makes a nice clean hole and you're not risking ripping thread out of the carpet. Alright, there's our hole. Well, we got our line through the carpet. And again, a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, we're doing a hack job. Well, actually, blow all the crap out of this car. This car's still full of acorns and shit, but this isn't like a professional built race car. This is just my toy, beat around, generally have fun with. That, and I'm in kind of a hurry. I gotta get this thing done by today. So, hack job, kinda, little half-ass, half hack job, but still pretty decent car, or still pretty decent job, I would say. Or at least making sure it's done right. It just, maybe not super pretty, but it's done right. Yeah, I still got a lot of shit to do. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you the backside. So, what we have right here is, that's just a, your typical brake line adapter. I just welded it to the floor, so now we got the hard line goes to that, and then on the bottom side of that will be the soft line going to the axle. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Alright, see, I gotta clock it just right, otherwise the fittings won't be aiming the right direction. Let's put my droop in it. Right there. Make sure it stays pointed the direction I want it to go. Okay. Now, let's see how it's going to work. Like a glove. Perfect. Alright. Now we gotta do, see, that one is the actual brake line. Now I need to duplicate that with the top fitting for going to that one there on the floor pan for the handbrake. Oh, crap. What did I do with it? I had a universal around here somewhere. Ah. So, the universal that was on this drive shaft was for the smaller 2 1/8 yoke for the rear end. So now it's got a 489 case with the 2 5/8. So I got to swap out the bastard inch 2 1/8 by 2 5/8 universal for the straight up 2 5/8 universal. Time to do some hammering. All right. So that was pretty easy. There's the old one, there's the new one. Done. Probably like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, tops. Well, the original rear brake line that goes from basically the front to the back, it was too rotted to, well, it wasn't rotted and leaking, but trying to take the nuts off of it, they weren't coming off. Or trying to loosen the fittings, they ended up just twisting and breaking. So, I'm gonna duplicate the original with a rolled up new wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. I will be driving this thing tonight. Will be. Alright, went ahead and made the duplicate line real quick. Slap it back in. Okay, So I got the new brake line in for that goes from the proportioning valve, or goes from the distribution block to the soft line in the back. So that's done, but still one other thing I need to do. See, this is the brass flare that was inside the master cylinder right here. It goes, you have to pull the, what I had to do is kind of screw a coarse thread screw into the end of it and then pop it out, because there is a little rubber one-way valve right here that I have to pull out. Yep, see right there. See, I gotta pull that guy out because this is no longer drum brakes anymore in the back. So if I would have left this in there, there would have been constant pressure on the rotor, on the rotors from this, what do they call it? Brain fart. I get those all the time. If you watch this channel, remembering the names of shit, I'm horrible with. But anyway, this holds pressure in the lines for drum brakes. Do not use this with disc brakes. So pull that out. Now I can punch my little brass fitting back into the master cylinder, and I can still use that drum brake master cylinder for the discs I have in the back. So you know you care more about sliding than you do stopping when you have disc brakes in the back with dual calipers and wussy little drums up front. I mean wussy, like 10-inch drums. So yeah, sliding's more important. All right, well, get back on it. Oh yeah, handbrake works. Oh, can't wait to go sliding around with this thing now. Tomorrow, this car's got a date with the autocross track. Ain't gonna be the fastest one, but I'll have fun with it. Can't wait.
Looks like it's on fire. I think it's great. Yeah. It's coming from your exhaust.
Hold on, let's find out. Let's
probably a couple drips of oil.
Oil then.
Yeah, nothing on the ground now. I say this car, it's a 50-year-old flat down car.
If they don't leak oil, there's something wrong with them. Philip Knoll,
right.
2010 Challenger. You're my crewmate.
Fine job, sir. He had some fun. Fine job
out there.
Fine job out there. Tell me you got the Dixie horn in this thing.
Oh yeah. It's not working.
Oh damn it! I was gonna have you flip it on while you're out there doing it.
No, it's not working.
What's that?
It's not working.
Hey man, can I ride with you?
I don't have a passenger seatbelt.
I hold the fuck on. Call me with it. I got brown hair. Dude, that was awesome. I don't care what your time was. That was badass.
Well, that's what I don't care what my time is either.
Dude, you got the coolest car here. I don't give a fuck.
Alright, you gotta do the horn a couple times too.
It's not working.
Oh!
Otherwise I would.
Yeah. Is the car signed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
69 generally. Yeah. Lead in.
I love the handbrake in the General. It's freaking awesome. But the General needs more power. It's kind of, I'm actually really close. I don't know if the camera shows this, but the door is touching the camera tripod. Let's see. Can you still see me? Probably can. Anyways, the General needs more power. The 383 is kind of worn out and tired. You know what, let me get back in the car. Screw sitting down. Yeah, so the 383 is kind of worn out and tired. It smokes a little bit. It just kind of poopy. I threw a 391 gears in it to go to the Vegas show, and so I can drift it around and have fun with it. And first gear was too short. I don't know if you noticed it in the video or not, but I just couldn't get enough wheel speed. Without wheel speed, it won't slide around that well. Basically just kept it on the rev limiter the whole way around. It's the only way I can get it to slide. If I tried to go to second gear, it just had no power. So, but I have some plans in mind for this thing. I do have enough pieces to put together an aluminum headed 340 stroker motor. So it'll be like 100 pounds lighter than this 383, and it'll make like 100 more horsepower than the motor that's in this thing too. So I think I'm gonna do that. Plus I would like to put an overdrive in this thing, and it being a small block, I can bolt up a 518 overdrive transmission to it and I'll have overdrive real easy. So I think I'm going to do that. Smurf, on the other hand, didn't have a handbrake, but Smurf makes enough power to where it can fling around the corners just fine. It has enough power to carry that ass into the next corner, and then you just kind of set it up and just mat it, and it's just, and it sounds awesome. And it had a 293 gear in it, so it's got enough wheel speed to make plenty of tire smoke. But yeah, Smurf was awesome. I'd love to put a handbrake in Smurf too, so maybe do that. I don't know. Smurf isn't really my take out in the desert and beat the shit out of car, but it would be fun. I love the handbrake. It's so awesome now. And if you haven't, well, of course this video is going to be linked to the installation of this, but yes, if you have a General Lee, a handbrake is a must. It is awesome. You can set up the corners so easy to drift and slide, and you can whip 180s and split. You don't have to mat the throttle. I know you guys are gonna be like, oh, you don't need a handbrake to drift. Well, you don't, but it's a lot more controlling if you do. Because if you just try and if you're going through a corner and you mat the throttle and kick it out, well, that's a whole lot of ass end that just flings out very fast, and you get that pendulum effect, and you can just whip around real easy. With a handbrake, you can get it out to the right amount of yaw that you want, and then just mat the throttle and just hold it there. So yeah, the drifting guys knows what I'm talking about. I'm not an expert drifter. If you saw the video, that was actually my first time ever really trying to drift a course. I mean, I've played around on the streets here and there, but never like multiple corners, usually just like one corner. So that was my first attempt. So all you drifting guys, try not to bash me too hard, is my first attempt at drifting. So I'm gonna do a lot more of it. As soon as they got some amateur drift events here in Vegas, I'll take this thing out to the drift event. I'll take Smurf. It'll be fun. I did run one lap in Smurf to see what it would do, and it actually was right there pretty much with the modern cars. Smurf has some upgraded front suspension and all that. The lap time it ran was right there with modern Challengers and Chargers, so it wasn't too bad. But Jen was awesome. Well, anyway, off to work. Yay. But I got plenty more videos, you guys. I've never done this whole like, subscribe thing, but I guess I'll try it. So if you like watching me play with my cars and do fabrication work and redo metal work and all that stuff, go ahead and like and subscribe. I just play. I have fun. You only live once. I don't want to be the old guy. Well, I can't say that. I do want to be the old guy, but I don't want to be that guy that wishes he had all that fun when he was younger. I just want to do it now. Now, if it puts me in debt because I'm having fun with my stuff, and I can always make money later, but I just want to enjoy having fun now and building my cars, so later I can enjoy them. All right, well, see you guys later.